Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to a whole new episode of Full Steam Ahead. I'm your host, Zoe, with my partner Crumb on the other side, Mr. Cantu.
How they do?
Yeah, we're almost wearing the same, orange shirt. I mean,
I
I have
know.
a little lighter color. I mean, you got a little dark kind of,
Yeah,
tequila sunrise going, I guess you could say.
something, something like that. Something like that.
I mean, we could blend in like the Astros alternate colors. But everybody want to hear about that. This is episode 120, Deep Sea Fishing. Because I mean, when you go deep sea fishing, you're getting them big fish, and obviously the Marlins are a big fish. And the Astros did catch one out there, taking the series against the Miami Marlins 2-1 after dropping that first game. Second and third game, the offense started to click, especially that last game of the finale of that series. And sure enough, road trip, happy flight home to Houston. But Angel, get us started. What do you think? First word of this series.
It was a great series. I put it because Yuli Guerrero got his World Series ring. The Astros took the series, and the offense was looking like the traditional vintage Astros offense. Like they're putting up runs, and they were able to hold the Marlins. Who shout out to them. Like they didn't give up that second game. It was a close one. It was a close one in the third game as well. But the Astros were victorious.
Yeah, first game. I mean, it was a tight game between the Astros and the Marlins. Braxton Garrett was pitching really well for the Marlins. Framber Valdez too. We'll talk about him in a minute. He did really good, but kind of gave up them two home runs at the end of the day. But like you were saying, there were a lot of close games. Even the third game, the Marlins were catching up when the Astros had a 6 or 5-0 lead on them, but the offense would go ahead and pass on. But record now is 70-52. They are 2.5 games back thanks to the Los Angeles Angels beating the Rangers in that last game. Reed Detmers had 7 hit, no innings, but would lose the no hitter and only allowed Texas Rangers to have 3 hits. So 2.5 games back. I mean, every time we're talking about it, it's either 2.5 to 3.5. So as long as it's right there until the Astros and Rangers meet in September, we'll just have to see about that. Second place in the AL West and second in the AL wild card. But Angel, let's start off with the shout outs. Give me your 2 shout outs from this series. I mean, there's a lot of nominees, a lot of candidates we could go to, but we have 4 in ours. And go ahead and give us your two.
Yeah, let's start off with someone who's always getting a shout out for doing such an amazing thing this season, and that is Kyle Tucker. 4-4-13, 308 batting average, 2 home runs, 4 RBIs, and 1 walk. He had a go-ahead home run on Tuesday night, and Wednesday Tug goes back to back with Bregman to seal that second victory of the series. Again, Kyle Tucker has been great this season. I think he's always on. Like he's always getting a shout out, right? So I mean,
I
what do you
mean,
think?
it's either him or Jordan Alvarez. Jose Altuve, too, is coming in.
Yeah, and then Dana Brown is adamant that they're gonna keep Kyle Tucker in Houston, so he's just adding dollars to his paycheck for sure this series. But another outfielder that has been great and really turned his season around. I mean, he was pretty good last year, but now he's just taking it on a whole nother level, and that is Chas McCormick. 5 for 10, 500
Yeah.
batting average, 2 home runs, 3 RBIs. He had a home run on Tuesday and Wednesday night. And that one on Wednesday, it was center field. That one was
Dead
a
center.
shot. Yeah.
Dead center.
Deepest part of the field. Again, Chas McCormick being able to hit the slider. He's getting more fastballs and he's catching up to that fastball for sure.
Yeah, and Lone Depot Park too. You even said it last episode. It's a huge ballpark gap to gap. Just ask Jordan Alvarez. He was pretty close to hitting some bombs out there. But I mean, Chas McCormick going to the deepest part of the field, like you're saying, 435 feet. I mean, that's pretty big.
Is
And then
that
of course he's Apo Taco.
is that bigger than is that longer than Taos Hill? When I mean Park is like
Taos Hill, I believe it was 430 or 432. So yes, it was.
that's a home run in Taos Hill. It's crazy.
Yeah, launch angle. I mean, RIP to the hill out there of Taos Hill at Minute Maid Park. But you gave 2 offensive players. I'll go in the offense and a pitching nominee on my end. I'll go with Jose Altuve. I mean, this guy continues to hit. That first game, 3 for 4, dude. I mean, he is on a tear. He was only one to get that RBI for the Astros on the board. But the series, he finished 4 for 9, 444 batting average. He had 2 RBIs, 2 walks, even a walk that was very, very close, and was able to pick up an RBI just from that walk. And of course, everybody had saw in the first game, he left the game Tuesday after fouling a ball off his left knee, and it looked like his left shin when you looked at the replay, but it was diagnosed as a left knee contusion. X-rays were negative, and that was a good sign at the end of the day. They were calling him day to day, but Jose Altuve found a way to get back in that Astros lineup on Wednesday. He would go for 0 for in that game, but Little Gigante is still 3 hits away, dude. 3 hits away from 2,000 career hits, and I am very adamant about this that he's gonna get it at Minute Maid Park.
I think that's what he was waiting for. I think that's why he went over 4 because he wouldn't get it M&A part. But honestly, I didn't think he was gonna play yesterday.
Yeah, I didn't think
Um,
so either.
like especially how Dusty Baker is with his players, like any little like they're taking out the game, they don't play the next day. So I had already moved them to the bench in my fantasy league, and then I saw the lineup. I was like, wait, leading off again, so I had to put him back in. But yeah,
Yeah, I mean, good thing you did because he got an RBI and got point out of it. So, Jose Altuve being my first offensive, and I got to give some love to Mr. Hunter Brown. I mean, they put him in the bullpen just how they did with JP France in that Yankee series, and when the Astros needed an arm to come up with a struggling Christian Javier, Hunter Brown just did that. 2 innings, 1 hit, 0 earned runs, 1 walk, 1 strikeout. Like I said, he was moved to the back part of the bullpen of this series. Usually he is a starter. We'll talk about our preview because he will be starting in one of those games. But if you saw that second game, Christian Javier's command, I mean, it's been shaky all year. Let's just be honest about that. And I mean, he got roughed up, only went 4 and 2/3. Rafael Montero got that last out. And then sure enough, Dusty Baker goes and throws Hunter Brown in 2 innings. And I mean, he did an amazing job going out there and dominating against this Marlins lineup that had just did pretty good, at the beginning of the game and even in Monday's game. So shout out to him, even though not a lot of starters. And I wouldn't say Hunter Brown too would want to be in that bullpen, but now he'll be starting in this upcoming preview, which we'll talk about in a minute. But Angel, it is time, and it's been a while for Cantu's Corner. What do we have in store for today, Mister Cantu?
yeah. So one of our familiar faces for the shoutouts is Kyle Tucker, and yeah, he had a great first half of the season. He was an all star, but man, that second half of the season is just something else. He hasn't even lost it. I think he gained one because he's just been amazing this second half. Like that that lefty swing is popping. In 89 games, this is the first half of the season for Tucker. Again, he had a good season. He was an all star. In 89 games, he had 93 hits, 13 home runs, 56 RBIs, a 288 batting average, a 471 slugging percentage, and a 130 weighted runs created in the second half in just 30 games. I'm sorry, 31 games because they played another one. 30 games,
Mm-hmm.
31 games, 38 hits, 11 home runs, almost matching his first
11.
half.
Oh, and 30 games too. Wow.
Almost matching his first for half numbers. 36 RBIs, 664 slugging percentage, and 187 weighted runs created. So I was thinking, what did you want to add something?
No, I mean it's crazy with the home runs. I'm looking at him like, wow, 11 home runs in the second half, and that's just with 30 games.
Yeah,
And he had 13 home runs in 89 games in the first
yeah.
half, so it's pretty good. And then the 322 batting average too. I mean, he's just making his MVP candidacy just more, just increasing it. But of course, Shohei Ohtani's there.
Oh yeah. I mean, he's been great. Like that, he has that home run ball on like it's automatic at this point. But
Hmm.
I took a closer look, and something that I've seen is that Kyle Tucker's been hitting the fastball lot better. Just ask Felix Bautista of that 100-mile-per-hour fastball that made it to the stands this year against the fastball, a 325 batting average. Last year, 270. So a big improvement on fastballs. His WOBA for fastballs is 408 this season compared to 350 last year. And he's even hitting the breaking pitch a lot better as well. He has 8 home runs off the breaking pitch. Last year, 270. Last year 252 batting average. This year 279, so almost 280 hitting
Yeah,
off the breaking ball. And the the WOBA as well as 376. So I think a major thing that Kyle Tucker worked on was catching up to that fastball, right, and not getting
Mhm.
bamboozled on that off speed pitch. Because again, hitters are shying away from throwing fastballs because he's been so good at them. But when he does, he takes advantage. I think that's the biggest thing that I've seen is being able to hit that fastball. It's kind of like counter what Chas McCormick did. Chas
Yeah,
McCormick,
that's what I'm
yeah.
about to say too. With him just getting prepared for the sliders and the off speed pitches, compared to last year, he wasn't hitting too well against them pitches. And this year, I mean, he's changed into a different player, a dynamic player too for the Astros bottom half of the order. But I mean, Kyle Tucker,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, you would have told me in the beginning of the season if he would be up for the MVP of this season for at least top three, I'd be shocked. I would have said top five because it's just King Tuck.
Hmm.
And the numbers from last year too looked really well, but I would have had Jordan Alvarez over Kyle Tucker, and I feel like too I could be speaking for everybody
No,
because
yeah,
Jordan Alvarez is that dominant player that you would want in your everyday lineup.
no, yeah. Kyle Tucker has been valuable for the Astros, and should be getting MVP. Talks in that conversation because he has a 19. Uh, he has his run value of 19, which
Yeah,
is elite. That's like highest level. And like also what I forgot to mention, just to show you how he's been catching up to the fastball. His whiff percentage last year on fastball 17.4, this year 14.5. As well as breaking balls, whiff percentages last year was 24.2, this year 21.7. So it may seem like just 3% um, is a small number, but it trust me makes a big difference in
yeah,
that
it's a
in your
huge
investment.
difference.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
it's a very huge difference, especially for him. MLB had him ranked as like the number two guy for the AL MVP, and everybody knows who's number one right now. That's Shohei Ohtani. Which I thought about it too the other day. If Otani would have left the American League to the National League at the trade deadline, does he still consider, for that AL? Would you think that would still be, possible?
I don't think so because I remember it happened to Greinke when he moved from
Oh, with the
Arizona to.
Diamondbacks,
Yeah, I think he was like a silver slugger for pitching, but since he moved to the American
American
League,
League.
it just I think canceled out. So
Well, I
I'm
mean,
not sure.
I think he won it for the American League though. Or
Did he?
man, I'm not
No.
sure. That's a good one though. I want to. I remember him winning a Silver Slugger. I don't know which league that he had won it.
Yeah, I don't know how that works. I need to do more research on that.
Yeah, and that's a good one because thinking about it now, I mean, Kyle Tucker, and that's been for the Astros for both years, I could say, because if Aaron Judge wasn't hitting that 62 home runs, that milestone, in Major League Baseball, American League history, there's a chance Jordan Alvarez could be the MVP, or it was either between him and Shohei Ohtani, which Alvarez did have a great year last year. Now you have the same situation, but with Shohei Ohtani this year, who's been have better numbers, 40 home runs, 10 wins as a starting pitcher. He's even considered, I think, even in MLB had put him on the Cy Young candidacy, like getting be one of the candidates to win that award. So it's unfortunate that Tucker, they just need to give Otani his own award, honestly, because that is not giving no fair to even in the All Star game too. I hated so much when they like put the DH Otani and like for instance, who had a good year in the American League? I mean, Alvarez was hitting the ball well until he had gotten hurt. Um, I would say JD Martinez, but Martinez went to the National League. I mean, I don't know who would have been that other guy in the DH role, but yeah, that Otani, I mean, one of the best players to come out of Japan since Ichiro, and just one of the best players I would say in Major League Baseball. I mean, wouldn't you agree?
Okay. No, yeah. A
But I
two-way
mean,
player award or something,
yeah, I mean something like that. The Babe Ruth Award because Babe Ruth did pitch and hit, but I mean he only did at a small percentage.
Hmm.
But
No, but hey, so did you hear there's a doctor in town?
I heard there is a doctor, but I just don't know what city he had gone to.
Yeah, Doctor Smooth is in Sugar Land. Michael
Everybody's
Brantley.
favorite uncle.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Uh, how we like to call Uncle Mike, Doctor Smooth, professional hitter. He's a man with the nicknames, and they're well deserved. Michael Brantley returned to the baseball field Tuesday night for his second stint in a rehab assignment. He went 1 for 3 with a home run and 2 RBIs, which honestly, though, I didn't think he was gonna hit a home run. I know,
I would
like,
not have thought of, if you put the over under on that too, I would have went under because who would have thought Michael Brantley hitting a home run, especially in his second at bat of that, that's just crazy.
no,
I
yeah.
wouldn't have thought about that.
If you would have told me Alvarez was doing a rehab assignment against minor leaguers, okay, yeah, a home run's bound to happen. But Michael Brantley with that long layoff, I mean, well, like you said, he's a professional hitter. I know, but like that age comes up sometimes, and you know, like, I was
Yeah,
shocked. But
yeah.
yeah, he had two
I'm,
RBIs. Go ahead.
the other thing too, I mean, Jordan Alvarez had his rehab, and he didn't even hit a home run. And
Hmm.
Michael Brantley comes back in his second stint of being off on a rehab stint and hits a home run his first game.
Yeah, but
Just crazy.
it
Baseball.
could be good news for the Astros lineup for sure. And like you were saying, he did hit a home run in his second at bat um, of his rehab assignment. And then Tuesday, we got a little more clarification on a specific timeline for Brandy. So, this is what Dusty Baker had to say. It's hard to be out for a year and a half and then say I'm ready after 3 games or 4 games or whatever. Dusty said pregame, but Michael will have plenty good. We'll have a pretty good idea when he's ready. So, yeah, Dusty Baker with those kind of like
Dustyism, so I guess you could say. I mean, I don't know. It's 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 kind of hard to like tell, dude, with him because it's either like he says like, oh well, he's kind of like sugarcoating it, which you understand as a manager and as a player. I guess even the fans should know that by now with him
yeah,
because until you see it live, then you'll believe it. Saying one thing and actually doing it could be two. I mean, it's obviously two different freaking things, but I mean, it's I don't man, I just don't even know how to describe. I mean, Dusty's thoughts and things like that when it comes to this stuff.
yeah. But I mean, speaking of that, when do you, if you would have to guess, when will Michael Brantley return? When would it be? Like,
I wouldn't think they would make him play a lot more games like how he did last year. I mean, the last rehab, because if you remember the last rehab, it was like about a good week that he was playing nothing but minor league games for 1 week. I could see that here, doing it again, but at the same time too, I don't see it being a week. I could see potentially for sure after the Mariners series. I think the Astros play the Boston Red Sox too coming up at home. I believe after that series, there could be a good small chance that Michael Brantley could come back to the team and actually play some Major League Baseball. I feel that I think it's very possible, but like I said, until you kind of see it live, then that's when I'll kind of believe it.
yeah, and another surprising thing is that he actually played right field. He wasn't a DH.
Yeah, he
So,
had 4 putouts too that
so
way.
oh wow,
Yeah,
no, yeah.
so
So that got me thinking. Um, if and when he does come to the lineup, like obviously at this point, David Headsley goes down, like gets sent
mhm.
down, but it's just like trying to pinpoint which of the outfielders you think kind of lose a little bit more playing time. Like, is it like I know Mauricio Dubon is a Justin Verlander's like center fielder, but
Mhm.
then you're talking about having Michael Brantley in right, Tucker in left, and then platooning with Jake Myers and Chas McCormick at center, and then Dubon's gonna get a starting center every fifth day. So it's just kind of
Yeah,
like getting these guys playing time to be a good. I mean, it's a good problem to have, but it's just like, who do you think has the edge on that?
it's gonna be Chas McCormick, I think, because the way he's hitting, especially after the second half of the All Star break, I mean, he's seeing the ball really well. He has great numbers against left-handed hitters. If you wanted to, kind of counter that with Jake Myers to see who's gonna be the next guy up. So I would say Jake Myers would probably have to be at the end of the stick on this one. You'll have Kyle Tucker in right. Obviously, you'll have either a platoon of Jordan being at left, Michael Brantley at left, and then the only way I could see Jake Myers playing is when they put Chas McCormick in left, and they'll put Jake Myers in center. Because I doubt I'm 100% sure that they're not going to put Michael Brantley to play almost every day. I can see him playing maybe about I'm trying to figure out maybe about 3 games a week on the field, but you're gonna see majority of time. You're gonna see Jordan Alvarez out there. You're gonna see Chaz McCormick out there in left. And like I said, that's the only way I could see Jake Myers is playing is if they move Chaz to left and they put him in center. Because you're right, Justin Verlander already has his preferred center fielder, and that's Mauricio Dubon. I mean, you can't argue with JV saying hey, we're gonna put Jake Myers and Chaz McCormick in center. Nah, there's only one guy that could go out there, and that's gonna be Mauricio Dubon for Justin Verlander.
Yeah, agree.
So we'll have to see about that. But let's get that preview going. Angel, obviously, Thursday is an off day today. We are recording on that day. So the preview against the Seattle Mariners, they are currently 64 and 55. As of now, like I said, we're recording right now at this moment. They're in the AL West, 2 games behind in that wild card spot for that last part. I believe the Blue Jays have that last spot in the wild card. 7-3 in their last 10 games. This team has been hot after the All Star break too. I mean, it's been them. It's been the Rangers. I mean, they're trying to figure out how to get back in that postseason, just like last year, Angel. Just like last year, basically. This is almost the same team as last year. I'm just like that. So,
Hmm.
and it was crazy at the time that they were going to trade Logan Gilbert, which is one of their great pitchers, I would say, one of their young guns that they brought out from their farm system, I believe 2 years ago. And I mean, to me personally, I think he's one of the best pitchers they have besides him, George Kirby, and Luis Castillo. So the Astros won't see Luis Castillo because he just pitched yesterday's ball game. But it's the weekend, Angel. Friday night fireworks. Let's get that preview going with Friday with the 7:10 start time in Houston. JP France, the stash, Jonathan Patrick is on the mound for your Astros, 9-3 with a 2.74 ERA. He will be going against Bryce Miller, 7-4 with a 4.04 ERA. And Angel, the stash, we always try to figure out what kind of innings he's going to pitch. He's been pitching quality innings for the Astros. If it's not even in the bullpen, it's on the bump with the start. His last outing versus the Los Angeles Angels at home, he went 7 innings, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts. And the interesting thing here is he made his debut at Seattle at T-Mobile Park against the Mariners. So that game he pitched 5 innings, 3 hits, 0 earned runs, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts. He did have 80 pitches that game. So if he does continue that success against the Mariners, I'm pretty sure we could see another 6-7 inning outing. But his 4 starts, it's all been in a row that he's pitched through 7 innings. He's had 4 quality starts in a row as well. He's tied for the most wins on the team with 9, Angel. With 9 wins compared to Framber Valdez, who's pitched almost, I mean, he's had over a month of pitching over JP Francis. Same thing as Hunter Brown, because that's who he's tied with for 9 wins. So I just see another good outing from the stash, man. Because he's like we've talked about him. If we're gonna say it again, he's been one of the most consistent, solid pitchers in this rotation for the Astros. He's honestly right now helping the Astros win a bunch of these games because, of course, remember Valdez has been up and down. Christian Javier as well. Command hasn't been there. Hunter Brown, same thing. Jose Urquidy's barely coming back from injury, and then they just got Justin Verlander at the deadline. So you got to feel promising. You got to feel confident when JP France is on that mound.
I agree. I agree. He's been one of the most consistent pitchers for the Astros. So, I mean, in the in the stash, I trust because he's been really good.
Yep, Viva la France, if you want to say that too. But Bryce Miller, on the other hand, Texas A&M graduate. Well, I don't know if he graduated, but he did go to Texas A&M. Of course, we're some Aggies here. Last outing
Really
versus the Baltimore Orioles. 5 2/3, 5 hits, 2 runs, one of them being earned, 2 walks, and 2 strikeouts. His last start versus Houston Angel, that was his second career start for the Seattle Mariners, and he pitched very well at T-Mobile Park. 6 innings, 2 hits, 0 earned runs, 0 walks, 5 strikeouts. I mean, the last starts that he's had and back to back, he's only allowed 1 earned run that he's pitched. But thing with him, he struggles on the road away from Seattle. He has a 5.15 ERA. Hitters are hitting over 300 opponent batting average. They have a 451 slugging percentage. That is a great sign for Astros offense that is right now. I don't know if they're continuing to average about 6 runs, but the last episode we had recorded, they were averaging 6 runs a game. So this offense too is hot right now too, Angel. I mean, you can't sugarcoat it or anything like that because they've been one of the hottest offenses too after the second half of the season. But obviously, I'm gonna ask you this because he did pitch really well against the Astros in his first start. He's coming to Minute Maid Park. I'm pretty sure the juice box is gonna be packed on a Friday night. What adjustments do you see the Astros making from his first start now to his second?
Ray got to learn how to hit the fastball. He threw 60 fastballs against him in his first start. 60 fastballs, 16 sliders, 8 sweepers, and 1 changeup. Now, do I expect the same game plan to be happening this second time around? I don't think so. I think they're going to be changing around, so they're going to be mixing in a little bit more pitches. And the fastball and slider have been good. He has a 223 opponent batting average on the fastball, 186 opponent batting average on the slider. So I expect a heavy dose of that slider coming in. So I think that's what they expect to hit, which Chas McCormick loves the slider, and he does make and he does make mistakes with that slider as well. I know it's 186, but that slugging percentage is still 329 on it as well. So and he does make mistakes on it. So I'll just take advantage of those mistakes.
Yeah, you gotta take advantage of mistakes, especially for this first year rookie that's in his major league season. Obviously, you got to teach the kid a lesson. And the first time he got you, the second time you're not going to let that slide. So especially at your own ballpark, I expect the Astros to have a huge adjustment and attack that fastball, like you were saying, because you gave away some interesting notes about Kyle Tucker on the fastball. Bryce Miller, you better beware of that fastball to throw to Kyle Tucker. But Saturday's matchup, you got a 6:10 start time. Framber Valdez is on the mound for the Astros with a 9.8, 3.31 ERA. He will be going against Logan Gilbert, who we were just talking about a little earlier. He's 10-5 with a 3.80 ERA. And La Grasa, the franchise, I mean, it wasn't a bad outing, I would say, against the Marlins. I didn't know if you got to catch that game. But let me just give you the stats real quick: 7 2/3, 6 hits, 4 runs, 3 of them being earned, 1 walk, 4 strikeouts. He had 95 pitches and 66 strikes. 7 2/3 too. Got to remind you that's almost pitching through 8 innings right there of 8 inning baseball. But like I was saying, Framber was cruising this whole game, dude. I mean, the pitch count was great. The pitch count, I believe, when it was at 70 pitches, it was in the seventh inning, I believe. But I mean, he had a low pitch count when he was going into the seventh and eighth inning, but he gave up them 2 home runs to who else then? Jorge Soler, and then a shocking one being Luis Ariz, because Luis Ariz is not known for being a power hitter in No Depot Park or just even in general. One of the best contact hitters in baseball. And that's why he's leading MLB with I believe he had like a 360 something batting average. So can't go nothing wrong with that. And you just tip your cap. They just hit the ball, in the spot that you put it. You can't do nothing about it. But I even said after the game, it wasn't a good outing, quote unquote. That's what he had said. It wasn't a good outing. To me, you gotta take this as a positive. It's just like Baltimore, I would say. Baltimore, he got roughed up in the first couple innings, and then he was just cruise control throughout that whole game, being able to pitch 7 innings. Same thing here. The offense just wasn't there for him. 7 2/3. You only gave up 3 earned runs and just 4 runs. I don't think it's a bad outing. It's just your offense wasn't there to help you. But I mean, Angel, you think Framber's being a little hard on himself lately? I mean, these back-to-back games, I don't think he sees him like pitching those dominant games like how he did in the no-hitter against the Guardians. I mean, do you feel like he's just being a little roughed up right now?
Yeah, I think Framber's just a competitor, like by nature. I think he wants to win every single start and be perfect every single start. And that's the I think that's where he gets kind of in his mind a little bit. Like he's trying
Mm-hmm.
to be a little too fine at times. Like I feel like after he threw the no hitter, he's like, well, I could be perfect, and then maybe he's just like trying to like a little bit too fine. Like sometimes, like when you're pitching, kind of aim a little bit, trying to get in like that ends up doing it's counterproductive. Like it makes it even worse. But by him saying it wasn't a good outing, even though again, like you mentioned, he pitched 7 2/3. Like anytime you can pitch 7 or more innings and help your team save the bullpen, like that's a quality start in the book. And obviously he
Yeah.
helps, which it was 4 runs. I'm not sure if it's
I believe you still call. I believe you still count as a quality start because it was only 3 earned runs. If you
that makes
allow three
sense.
earned runs, then it's still a QS.
That makes sense, right? Yeah, he got the loss, but I mean, we all know what Framber can do. Framber knows what he can do, and I feel like when that doesn't pan out, he's just like I feel like his mind just gets the best of him. But I mean, he's still like nothing has changes even with the Verlander addition. He's still the ace of this ball club. He's still a great pitcher, and he's still a Cy Young candidate this year as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean him. Oh man, speaking of Cy Young, Shane McClanahan's out for the whole season
Tommy
and
John.
even in 2024. That is a huge loss for the Tampa Bay Rays. But yeah, I mean now it's a kind of a clear cut for Framber and Garrett Cole. You could kind of throw in Nathan Uvalde. You could even throw in Kevin Gossman. They've had some good seasons for their respective teams. But yeah, like you said, I mean, I feel like he is trying to be perfect. And if you look at it too, the way he goes on the mound, he's just mad. And like you said, that's that competitor inside you. You can't do nothing about it. It's just he is a competitor. And these last two starts that he's had, like you said, he saved the bullpen. The next start after Framber Valdez for this series was Christian Javier. And look what happened to Christian Javier. He went
Like
4 2/3.
Christian Javier's a bullpen killer.
Yeah. So it was. I mean, a lot of people too on social media were saying, "Well, they should not allow him to go for that last inning." I mean, what do you mean? He has 80 pitches, 80 something pitches. Yeah, I mean, if it would be, I feel like it'd be a different story if he did throw the 8 innings and if Jorge Soler and Arise didn't hit that home run. They wouldn't have said nothing like that.
Like I know the pitch clock's old news now. Like
Yeah,
what they're getting used to. But do you think that's a factor?
I I feel like it could be a small factor, just a little factor, because if you think about last year, this was Framber Valdez
No,
last
no,
year was
for
pretty
Javier,
dominant. Oh, for Javier, I don't know. It could be.
it's just I don't know.
It's just he hasn't. I mean, if you look at his command,
That's what I'm saying.
it's not the same. It is not the same from last year. I mean, the velocity too. It's just it
You
could be
think he's hurt?
fatigue. I mean, you would not hope that he's hurt, but I feel like honestly, I just think it's fatigue. I mean, he did pitch in the WBC. He looked really good in the WBC too. It's just
No pitch clock.
yeah, it was no pitch clock. That's true. That is a good observation by you. But let's get with Logan Gilbert real quick. Last outing at KC, 4 1/3, 7 hits, 4 earned runs, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts. That team right now, Bobby Wood Jr. is hitting pretty well for them as of lately. But I mean, I was kind of shocked when I saw that. I was like, dang, 7 hits, 4 earned runs against Kansas City, which is not one of the best teams in Major League Baseball. It's baseball for you right there. But his last start versus Houston Angel, dominant. Just pure domination. 7 innings, 3 hits, 1 earned run, no walks, 6 strikeouts. And that was at Minute Maid Park. He's had the Astros kind of, honestly, he's had their number from last year and to this year, I would say. But in his career, this season is his best in these categories. He has a 1.65 walk to per 9 innings. That is the 94th percentile with the walk percentage in Major League Baseball, which is really great if you go look at that on Baseball Savant. He has a 7.86 hits per 9 innings, and he has a 550 ratio from strikeouts to walks. Those three categories right there are his best this season from his 3-year career so far in the MLB. So he's made some adjustments. If you look at that walk rate too, he's kind of being almost like a George Kirby. George Kirby hardly allows any walks. He's up there at least in the 100 percentile, I would say, for the walk percentage. And I mean, Logan Gilbert's just right there behind him with the 94 percentile. So you just have to see about that. He has a 42.8% ground ball rate, one of his best ground ball rates this season compared to the last two. So if he's not going to walk you, he's going to make you hit that ball on the ground. Hard contact. He got a good defense behind him. Go Glover and J.P. Crawford in short. Third, you got Eugenio Suarez, Ty Francis as well. He's had pretty good defensive plays at first base, but good matchup right there for Saturday and Sunday for the finale. You got two rookies on the mound, Angel. You got a 12:05 start time. You got Hunter Brown, who is 9-8 with a 4.16 ERA. He would be going against Emerson Hancock. Nobody has heard that name, especially us. 0-0 with a 5.40 ERA. And Hunter Brown, his last outing at Miami, it wasn't a start. Like we were saying, 2 innings, 1 hit, 0 earned runs, 1 walk, 1 strikeout. His last start against Baltimore, on the other hand, 6 innings, 8 hits, 5 earned runs, no walks, 7 strikeouts. That start there, Angel, he is just like Framber Valdez. He pitched really well to the sixth inning. He had 90 pitches already, but Dusty Baker trusted him to go out there and give him at least another out or just try to finish that inning off to make 7 innings. But he gave up a couple of hits. He even gave up a home run to Ali Rutschman. Can't do nothing about that. You just tip your cap. But in his last three outings before that Baltimore start, he pitched through six. Some of those were in the 90 pitches. I believe he had 93, 88, and 95 pitches in all them three starts. And them starts as well were all quality starts. So if you're thinking about it now, just thinking like 6 inning might be the magic number for Hunter Brown, honestly. If he gives you 6 innings, that's good. Honestly, if he goes seven, I would want him to go in a 80 pitch mid, low to mid 80s. But 6 innings to me, I feel like that's just perfect for him. 6 innings, just hand it to the bullpen at that point.
Yeah, like you don't want to push it either. Like,
Yeah, and if you saw that game against Baltimore, I think that's what Dusty did. He kind of tried to push him just to see if he could give another inning or two, but it just didn't pan out that way for him. And like I said, he gave up a bunch of hits and including the home run at Ali Richardson. So different start here against the Seattle Mariners. We'll just have to see what he does. He will be going against another rookie, like I said, Emerson Hancock. He is the number 4 prospect in the Seattle Mariners farm system. He's only had 2 starts so far. Last outing against the Kansas City Royals, he got roughed up. 5 innings, 9 hits, 5 earned runs, 0 walks, 1 strikeout. This will be his third career start and will be against the Astros that he has yet to face. So our audience, they don't know what he pitches, Angel. So let's give it to him real quick. He has a 4 pitch arsenal: 4 seam fastball, a slider, a changeup, and a sinker. We're going to see a lot of heavy dosage from that 4 seamer. That's about 49.1%. He averages about 92 miles per hour, 267 opponent batting average. Just watch that number right there because that is the second best pitch that he could give up for opponents' runs. Next up, you got the slider, 23.3%, averages about 87 miles per hour. Next, you got the changeup, 14.1, averages 84 to 85 miles per hour. Hitters love this pitch. And I feel like he just leaves it up in the zone. I am not too sure. But the opponents swinging at this and their batting average is a 429 opponent's batting average. Very good sign to see because now obviously the changeup is supposed to go low in the zone, out in the zone, not in the zone. And possibly he could be throwing it in there. And then last but not least, we got the sinker, 13.5%, averages 92 to 93 miles per hour. So Angel, I feel like you got a groove on this on if he throws that changeup right in the zone. I mean, do you have anything?
yeah, I looked it up. Baseball Savant. He actually throws it low and away, and it's out of the zone in the red.
Wow.
So I mean, he's only thrown it 23 times. I think that's what it
Yeah.
is because there is a little red spot in that low middle part of the zone. So I think that's the one that's getting roughed up.
Yeah, you can't do this to a veteran lineup like the Astros. Let's just say that right now. Because I mean, the only one you can maybe give it up to, really, no one. I mean, I would even consider Martin Maldonado trying to hit that pitch.
Oh, yeah. No, but that
But
fastball makes sense. Like the
yeah,
fastball is usually it's middle high is where it's at.
yeah, 92 miles per hour too. It's not, blazing fast like 97, 99, like from Luis Castillo or George Kirby, any of the other pitchers. I'm pretty sure Logan Gilbert too throws it about that, same amount of speed. But this is an opportunity right here to gain some ground on the Rangers. It's an opportunity too to push the Rangers back in the division because they are 7.5 games of being first in the division. They're not too far from the Astros as well. I mean, they're maybe about what 5, 6 games back.
Sounds about right.
So, I mean, the Astros too have struggled against the Seattle Mariners this season. They've dropped both series. I believe they're 2-5 or 2-6. One of those. I know they've won at least one of the games from each of those series being over there at Seattle and being in Houston, but it's an important game for the Astros to try to gain some ground and, like I said, try to push the Mariners more back away from the division and possibly out of the wild card.
Yeah, just like the Miami series, this would be a crucial series for both teams. Like, again, the Astros are trying to gain ground on the Rangers, but The Mariners are only one game back from the wild card. They're right behind Toronto. So, if I mean, I'm sure they have playoff hopes too. So they're gonna be coming out,
Hmm.
throwing the kitchen sink at these guys.
Definitely.
But yeah, I think it's time for our MVP and hot takes. Yeah.
Yes, it is. Let's get it going.
All right. So I had Yanier Diaz. He did play 2 out of the 3 games. He did hit a bomb. Did hit
He
a bomb.
did. He did.
And I had Verlander, which pitched pretty good, and then Astros sweep Miami. I lost that in the first game out of the way. But what do you think? 1-3, 2 for 3, or what?
I'll go 2 for 3 just because Verlander got the win. This was not one of his best starts, honestly.
Okay, two
So
for
you
three.
you get 2 out of 3
I'll
because
take it. I'll
Yiner
take it.
got that bomb and Verlander got that dub.
Yeah, the Yanier the destroyer of baseballs for sure. But
The destroyer.
my new one is Jose Altuve. The reason he's gonna be my offensive MVP is because I'm sure he gets his 2,000 hit in this series. He's only 3 away. Yeah, the Ash, like you said, the Mariners have the Astros number, but Jose Altuve is just a pure hitter,
Yeah.
and I think he can get it. Pitching MVP, and I was kind of skeptical for me. I was like, I didn't want to pick him because I don't want to jinx him, but I think he's gonna be the best guy out there. That is JP France as well. And then my hot take is the Astros will hit more home runs than the Mariners do, and that's a lineup with Julio
Well,
Rodriguez, Eugenio Suarez, and a few other guys. Kyle Riley that love hitting against Astros, especially in the park.
I'm tired to see the big dumper, honestly. What a nickname it is too to have as the big dumper.
That should be my
He-
nickname, dude.
it could be honestly. I could be honest with you on that one. I'll yeah, big dumper times 2 for you. Actually, let's go with that one. But me, on the other hand, I had Jordan Alvarez, Christian Javier, and I said whoever's playing first base will hit the former Astros first baseman Yuli Gurriel. John Singleton did get a hit. Yuli Gurriel didn't. And he only played one of those games, which was unfortunate because I thought he would have played at least, you know, 2 out of the 3. But Josh Bell was going at first, securing that spot. Christian Javier, I wouldn't say, yeah, he wasn't really that guy. And Jordan Alvarez, I don't know. Well, what would you say for that?
Let's take it. I'll give it to you.
Okay, well, so we both went 2 for 3 this series, and that's great. So let's do that again for this one. Actually, let's go 3 for 3 with 1,000 batting average, shall we? First one's gonna be a shocker, Angel. Give me Jeremy Pena,
Pena.
JP3. It's a shocker, honestly, to me too, because Jeremy Pena, of course, has had a up and down season. Mm, everybody should know that he's struggled, swinging the fastball, and and then even certain pitchers, cough cough the slider. That's been another struggle for him. But actually, his last 7 games, Angel, he's been hitting the ball. He's been getting on base pretty good for the Astros. 296 average, on base percentage 387, slugging 333. This is all his last 7 games. 8 hits out of 27 at bats, 3 RBIs, 4 walks, 9 strikeouts. Yeah, that strikeout rate needs to kind of be a little bit better, but I feel like Jeremy Pena, he did it against the Mariners in the postseason. I'll see why not do it again against the postseason is kind of getting closer and closer each and every day. It's starting to get cold. Well, not even close to getting cold, but it's going to be fall before you know it. So I got JB3 as my offensive MVP. Pitching MVP too, Angel. Give me Brian Abreu. These games are going to be crucial, I'd say. Mariners are a good team. Let's not, don't even think they're not, because they are. They are a good team. They got a bunch of good talent, good starting pitching, even some good relievers in that bullpen. So why not do it with Brian Abreu having to come in a hot situation in this game, either for 1, 2, or 3, striking out the side, getting an important ground ball, getting an important strikeout, something like that. I feel like it's going to be coming in one of these games. So I got Brian Abreu as my MVP for pitching. Hot take, Angel. I don't feel like it's a hot take because when Jordan Alvarez faces the Seattle Mariners, I feel like the Mariners fans just kind of just clinch. They're like, oh no, this guy's coming up to the plate. Everybody's kind of in hush mode, like, oh my God, what's fixing to happen? So I got Jordan Alvarez continuing to be a nightmare for the Seattle Mariners. The houses of horror, as Sparky would say on the radio, for the Mariners because of Jordan Alvarez. So that's my hot take. It's my MVPs.
I like it. I like it.
Yep. So it'll be interesting to see if we hit. If we don't, too bad. Next and last but not least, our over and our under. Angel, I got a point on us. I got a point on us. You had that over on Jordan Alvarez hitting 2 home runs. I had the under.
It was close.
Unfortunately, yeah, it was close. Unfortunately, Jordan would not hit 2 home runs. But 27, I got Angel. You got 25 points. Let's start off with our for our four over under questions. Does King Tuck pay tribute to the King's Corner, the King's Court, whatever you want to call it? Because in right field there are a bunch of dazzling crowns in the stands, and records more than 5 RBIs this series. Remind you, against the Miami Marlins, he had 3. Against the Angels, he had 4. Against the Orioles, he had 7. Angel, are you taking the over? Or are you taking the under?
You know what? I'm gonna take the under on this one. Yeah, Tucker's been hot, but 5 against the Mariners pitching. Like you said, the Mariners had the Astros number kind of. So I say he records 4 RBIs this series.
4. I wanted to say under 2, but I'm getting a little bit of strong vibes on saying over,
Okay.
and I'm gonna go over because this guy leads the American League with 80 something. I think he has 90 now RBIs, second best in the American League. You're throwing a rookie on Sunday. You've seen Logan Gilbert. You've seen what you call this. God dog. What is Friday's matchup again? One more time. Bryce Miller,
It's
another
okay.
rookie. Yeah, so you got 2 rookies and Logan Gilbert. It is possible that you could get 5 RBIs if you were able to get 3 against the Marlins. If you were able to get 4 against the Angels, you had 7 in Baltimore because of a grand slam. I could see 5 happening because this guy, you put it on Cantu's corner. He's hot this second half of the season. I could see them RBI production going up.
And actually, Tucker's first in the American League right now in
Oh,
RBI
he's
is
first. Wow. Who's
second out of baseball.
second of all of baseball? What was he? Who's 1 and 2 in the American League and how many RBIs?
Tucker is one with 92. Garcia second with 91.
That's Adolis Garcia, right?
Adolis Garcia, yeah.
Another Ranger at second place. So yeah, I mean that happens. King Tuck, like you said, he took over the first. So the next one being Angel, does Jeremy Pena tally more than 5 hits against the Mariners? Mind you, Miami had 3, the Angels he had 3, Baltimore he had 5. Over, under,
Man, it's another tough one, but I'm gonna go with the over on this one.
over. I like it.
Yeah,
I
with the
like it.
over.
I like it. I gotta go over too. For the offensive MVP. So we'll have to see if he tallies more than 5 hits, but I believe so that he will have the over on 5. So 296 in the last 7 games too. You can't go wrong with him being able to get 5 hits in this series. It's possible. And then plus, don't forget, postseason Pena against the Mariners was dangerous. So we'll just have to see about that.
Now I try to change it up on this one. So my next one's gonna be, does Altuve walk for one more time this series? Altuve is well known as a free swinger. You know but he does it, and he can still get hits out of the zone. It's not like he's striking out a lot as well. But in Miami, he had 2 walks. Against the Angels, he had 4 walks, and against Baltimore, he had 1 walk. So 4 walks or more.
I got the under. This man is chasing history in his career, and that is 2,000 hits for a reason. So I'm gonna go under on this one. I mean, his play discipline has gotten better. If you look at his stats, the walk rate has gone. It's increased compared to his last season. He's watching the ball, seeing the ball very well at the plate. So I could see the under on 4 walks.
You know what? I'm gonna go with 4 exactly. I think I'll take the over on this one. Uh, Again, it's gonna be a tough matchup. They're gonna be wanting to beat the Astros in all 3 games, and he's the table setter. He is the leadoff hitter, so I think he's gonna do everything to get on base, especially later in the game when like it might be a close matchup. So I think I think yeah, I think they'll be over on this
Interesting, interesting. I mean, it could be honestly, it could be, but I feel like when you're chasing history, you want all the bats as much as you can.
one. Oh yeah, I get that. I get that. But next one, does Hunter Brown record 7 or more strikeouts against the Mariners? In Baltimore, he had 7. New York 4. Tampa Bay Rays 4.
7 or more strikeouts. Gotta go under on this one. I feel like he's loves doing 7 and less. Actually, like I feel like very confident. Them last 3 starts before Baltimore, he was going 4 strikeouts each game. So I feel like he'll go back into that table role of like saying, okay, well, I got a defense behind me. All I gotta do is put the ball on the ground. You know, if the Mariners hit a fly ball too, you know, a pop up, just make those hitters unbalanced. And I could see it this series against the Mariners. So I'll go under on 7.
Yeah, I'll go under too. Again, I think he's I say he records 5 or 6, but I think I'll be under.
Yeah, it's going to be a very interesting series. Like I said before, Angel, I mean, this is the only team right now that the Astros have struggled in their division. They have a winning percentage against the Rangers, they have a winning percentage against the Angels, and they have a winning percentage against the Oakland Athletics. The only team that they've struggled is against the Seattle Mariners. So, very important series for both sides, but more than anything, it has to be the Astros because I mean, the Rangers are never going to lose anytime soon. They've been on a hot streak ever since the All Star break. But great series on a great weekend. Well, we'll have to see what happens, and of course, we'll give you that recap later. But Angel, we do have a special guest coming in our next episode. It'll be tomorrow. If you're listening to this today, we're recording today that episode. We'll release it on Friday. So be aware. We will let you know. And I mean, we'll even let everybody know about it. Then you could be, aware of it. But Angel, you have anything else before we sign off?
No, thank you for listening. I am on 3%, so I don't have that much to say.
Real quick, follow us at Full Steam Ahead on Twitter, Threads, TikTok. Subscribe to our YouTube channel on YouTube as well. FSA Full Steam Ahead on Instagram, and download. Listen to our recent episodes on our podcast of Apple, Spotify, Google, wherever you get your podcasts out there. Continue to download and leave us a rate, leave us a review. We love to hear and your feedback about how we're doing and where we're going with this. But like Angel said, he has 3% on his end. I still got a good percentage of my battery on my Mac. But until then, we'll talk to y'all. Oh, literally later, Angel. We'll talk to the fans in a minute.
Mhm.
Until then, we'll give you that recap later on, then give you the preview against the Red Sox. But go Stros. Have a safe and nice weekend.
See you.